Our third speaker is Kevin Zambrano, and he is graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts in Literature. While at CCS, Kevin has won CCS-wide writing competitions, published several poems in the CCS Poetry Journal, Into the Teeth of the Wind, and has written over 30 articles for the Santa Barbara Independent. Last year, he won third place in the Ina Coolbrith Memorial Poetry Contest, a competition that encompasses undergraduates from all the UC campuses, Stanford's Mills College, Santa Clara College, and St. Mary's College. He also presented a critical research paper on Walter Benjamin and David Foster Wallace at the English Department's Arnhold Undergraduate Research Conference. Kevin is a dedicated writer, scholar, and poet who will continue his studies next year at Sarah Lawrence's Master of Fine Arts Fiction program. Let us welcome Kevin.
Hey everyone. Before I get started, I just want to thank everyone for inviting me to talk here today. When I was sitting out there in the audience my first day at orientation, it never really crossed my mind that I might end my college years up here giving a speech in front of the chancellor, the dean, all my teachers, my entire family, and just about all my closest friends. It's terrifying. It's also a tremendous honor. I'd also like to publicly thank my family for supporting me these past few years in all sorts of ways and generally putting up with me throughout my whole life. So thanks. It means a lot more than I can express. When I was asked to do this, my idea was to talk about creativity, what it means to be creative. It seemed natural. We are, after all, students of the College of Creative Studies. Creativity is our bread and butter around here. Well, not right here exactly. Mostly we're in that color-filled building across from the youth center, the one with the leaky roof. But wherever we are on campus, we're expected to be the creators, producing new things and rediscovering the power of the old, innovating and imagining. So whenever anyone asked what I was going to talk about, I said creativity. But I might as well have said, I have no earthly idea. It was, needless to say, stressful. Then one day I'm sitting in my room with a door open, probably reading, I imagine, and my housemate, Tony Alward, pokes his head through the door. Tony's a CCS math major. He's graduating here today, too. I have to admit that most of my friends are CCS people. We're a tight group, if you haven't gathered that by now. Anyway, Tony's taking a break from slaving away at his thesis, and he says he's been thinking about creativity, since I had mentioned that was going to be the topic of my graduation speech, after all. He tells me that he came up with a good line, and he says this: "While trying to find ourselves, we discover that ourselves are not waiting to be found, but to be created." I love that. It's such a beautiful truth, simple and revealing. Tony's a smart guy. I made sure to have him repeat it slowly a couple times so I could write it down and steal it to use right now. The reason I'm telling you this anecdote, aside from shamelessly giving my friend a shout out, is to illustrate the two most important things I learned about creativity from my years here at CCS. The first is that it doesn't come out of a vacuum. It is not the single product of a single mind. I would never have been able to come up with something like Tony's quote on my own, but those few words sparked within me everything else I'm going to say right now. Creative people need a support system to allow their creativity to come forth, especially at a large university. And here at UC Santa Barbara, CCS is that support system. On one hand, it allows us to take risks. It's not for bragging rights that we could take graduate classes, and it's not a laziness that CCS courses aren't graded. Part of being creative is failing over and over again. That's why my mathematician friends stay up all night doing and redoing proofs. That's why I rewrite all my essays, poems, stories, and graduation speeches until I can't bear to move my fingers. Being successfully creative means being bold and ambitious, experimenting and revising, failing 10 times, 100 times, until you succeed. The privileges bestowed upon us as CCS students are there to help us be creative. But CCS is more than a set of perks. The reason I could walk around with no idea what to talk about today and not have a panic attack was because I knew that if I needed assistance or support or even just encouragement, I could turn to my teachers and I think, equally importantly, my fellow students, my peers, and my friends. We are a creative community. We are writers and mathematicians, artists and scientists, all working under the same leaky roof. You can be a creative person and you might be able to go it alone, that's true, but like everything else in life, doing it by yourself only gets you so far. Because of our shared passions and our continued presence around each other, we always work together. It's inevitable. In my experience, we are far more often than not encouraging and supportive of one another. At the same time, we're unafraid to criticize each other because we know that we'd want the same attention and help given to our own work. That special kind of support we offer each other in CCS is vital to helping us grow as creative people. Now, it shouldn't surprise anyone when I say that our education system in general isn't designed to promote creativity. For people like us CCS students, it's something like, and excuse the cliche, jamming a square peg into a round hole. That's not to say that we're better students in any way or that we're special people. We're not. What we are, I think, are people who tend to get antsy when we can't participate, people with an insatiable need to make things. CCS is for us. Earlier I said that I told the Tony anecdote to illustrate two things. The second thing is that I think it shows us what creativity can illuminate. We, all of us, create ourselves. Creativity is a mode of both self-expression and self-exploration. It is a way of discovering overlooked problems and solving timeless ones. It allows us to see the world in new, different ways, and it allows us to make our own mark on it. It connects us more profoundly to everything, both outside ourselves and within us. Human creativity is a limitless thing, and every time we make something or discover something new, we become fuller people. I can only speak for myself, really, but when I encounter someone else's work and I am moved, whether it is by a painting in our CCS gallery, or an explanation of infinity on one of our chalkboards — Nathan actually did that in class the other day — or by a poem I find resting on one of our pianos, I am moved because they are beautiful. Beauty, I think, comes from encountering intangible, yet fundamental truths of our lives, the things we don't always talk about every day, but are vital to understanding our world. Creativity reveals the beauty in truth and the truth in beauty, and CCS is a good thing because it allows creativity to develop when it otherwise may have been neglected. We are all incredibly lucky to be here today. CCS is unlike any place else I know. It's something that the value is too deep to be quantified, much like the products of creativity itself. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'd like to congratulate the class of 2012 on being a part of it too. Thank you.
And we, the faculty and the staff, are equally lucky to have the company of such students. Thank you.